Hello guys, so in this video I will be telling you about a protozoic pathogen which is Plasmodium, which causes malaria. So we were talking about malaria. Protozoic pathogen. So it is caused by Plasmodium parasite. The class of the protozoa is Plasmodium. So this class also has several genus and its varieties are Plasmodium vivax, falciparum, ovale, Plasmodium ovale, and malaria. So now we will be studying about what are its symptoms. First symptom includes mild fever in starting, then then high fever, then sudden profuse sweating, and temperature decreases. Restlessness, dehydration, and weakness. So its incubation period is usually from 12 to 24 days, which varies in different pathogen genus. So now we will studying about the life cycle of the malaria or the Plasmodium. So particularly we will studying about the life cycle of Plasmodium vivax. Life cycle of Plasmodium vivax. So let's first take a mosquito here. These are his proboscis and these are his large eyes and these are, and let's make our human body. Let's consider this is our hand and this is a superficial blood vessel. This is usually a vein, mostly superficial. It should be superficially. So when the female Anopheles mosquito bites us, yes, it's necessary that if female Anopheles mosquito bite, then only this disease will be caused. In rest of the mosquitoes, this protozoa don't survive. So yes, this is the female Anopheles who is infected. Yes, this is to be noted that the disease will only be caused if the vector is having the parasite inside it. So it is called by female Anopheles who is usually infected. So when the female Anopheles bites a human, it injects its saliva, injects saliva, and also anticoagulant. Yes, you must be wondering why an anticoagulant is added. An anticoagulant is something that do not allows the blood to clot. So yes, in order to not clot the blood, an anticoagulant is added by the saliva of the female Anopheles. So with this, saliva contains a stage in the plasmodium which is known as sporozoite. Sporozoite. So this can be caused as the infectious stage, because in this stage only it is transferred from the mosquito to the humans. Now let's see what happens when this is transferred to the superficial blood vessel of the humans. Sporozoite. Actually my spelling are little bad. So sporozoite, it's a sickle shaped form of plasmodium in its life cycle. So let me change the color. Now after that, the sporozoite travels throughout the body to reach our liver cells. So let me make the liver. I'm roughly making the liver. Yeah, this is the liver, which contains, I'm zooming it, hepatocytes. I'm roughly making the hepatocytes, which are the structure and function unit of liver. This is the I'm making the Gleason's capsule, which covers the liver. So this hepatocyte, they are invaded by hepatocyte invaded by sporozoite. So you must be thinking, why can't the macrophages or the neutrophils, neutrophils which are there in our body, destroy or endocyte it or eat it. So in order they move so fast in the blood vessels so that they could reach the organ in order to hide from the immune system. So yes, this is the reason they move there. So let's see what happens there in the hepatocyte. Let me make a larger image of the hepatocyte, which is the structure and basic unit of the liver. This is a hepatocyte. I'm making a rough figure. So here is the sporozoite, and now it grows. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, now it grows into a structure known as zygont. Yes, it grows. There are fission. This is zygont. Sorry for my spellings, please cope up with that. This is zygont, and now it divides so that it can produce small cells which are known as merozoites. Yes, in the hepatocyte itself. I'm making these cells with a little bit of cytoplasm. This is known as merozoite or cryptozoites. Yes, this is merozoites or cryptozoites, and the process of this multiple fission in the liver cells is known as hepatic hepatic schizogony. Hepatic schizogony, or it is also known as pre or sorry pre-erythrocytic phase. And let's see what happens then. Cryptozoites or merozoites. After further that, when merozoites are formed, they destroy the cell and are liberated out. Now further, they can enter the another hepatocyte, or they can move to the blood vessels. So when the merozoites or the cryptozoites enter the another hepatocyte, and again the same process is done, and when the next product formed after the schizogony, in the second schizogony, we call it metamerocryptozoite. Metamerocryptozoites, and the process is called exoerythrocytic phase. And now this metamerocryptozoites could be of two types, micro and macro. If these are micro, they will move to the blood vessels and invade the RBCs, and the macro will again invade another hepatocytes and then again do the asexual multiple fission. So now we will studying about the micromerocryptozoites. So now these again enter the blood vessels. I'm making a blood vessel. This is the endothelium, and these are the RBCs. So they enter one of the RBCs, and let me zoom this RBC. This is the RBC, biconcave shaped erythrocyte. Erythrocyte. And when these metamerocryptozoites enter the erythrocyte, RBC, red blood cells, they are known as trophozoites. Yes, trophozoites. These trophozoites now follow different forms. They form a vacuole here and pushes the nucleus down there, and this form is called signet ring form. Signet ring trophozoite, or signet ring simply you can call it. And then it forms a amoebic stage, which is amoeboid trophozoite, or simply amoeboid form. And to keep this parasite alive, trophozoite feeds on the hemoglobin, which is present in the erythrocyte. So yes, let this be a polypeptide of hemoglobin, any alpha or beta. This contains of heme plus globin. Heme is actually the iron containing part, and globin is the protein containing part. So the the pathogen feeds on the protein part, and the heme part is left there as granules left in RBCs. This is also known as Kuffner's granules. So when we see through the patient who is diagnosed with malaria, if we go to the erythrocyte of that cell slide, we would see that RBCs contain certain granules. So this can be an indication of malaria. So let's see what happens after that. So let me make this an RBC. This is the trophozoite which is feeded on the globin part, and these are the granules. Yes, typical granules are there, and these are actually the toxins. Yes, hemozoin. Hemozoin spelling is wrong, I think, so please pardon. And hemozoin. So after this again converts into schizont. Yes, the schizont which we have studied here in the liver cell, a structure which is formed. Let me schizont. The multiple fission schizont, and again this schizont breaks and it disperses in the RBCs, and it exerts pressure on the RBCs wall, and the RBC walls burst open. Yes, the RBCs walls are burst open, and they are left in the plasma of the blood. Plasma contain merozoite. Yes, after schizont divides by multiple fission, the product is known as merozoite. Plus the granules which we called hemozoins are also released. Hemozoins. So what's the role of hemozoin? Yes, this is called the toxin actually, which causes fever. Yes, this is responsible for fever. So whenever a RBC bursts, it results in the fever, and after that there is profuse sweating, and then the temperature cools down, normals down, and again after 24 hours or 48 hours, the time period may vary according to the pathogen genus, again fever is there, and again the same process carries out until proper medication is done. So yes, till now we have only seen the asexual multiple fission of the pathogen Plasmodium vivax. So let's see if there is any sexual mode also. So let me write the heading sexual division in the pathogen. Sexual mode of reproduction. So the Plasmodium vivax divided asexually and sexually. The asexually process was also known as schizogony. So now, so we have seen that when the cell from the liver cells, which were actually merozoites, enter the RBCs, they can go through the asexual. Now you will know that they can also go through sexual division in the RBCs. Yes. So this is a merozoite which has been resulted from the division in the liver cells from the hepatic schizogony. It has two ways of division, asexual or sexual. So asexual we have seen, now we will go to the sexual. Now these merozoites again enter the RBCs, which now they are called as trophozoites. Now they may divide into two cells. One is the microgametocyte, another is the macrogametocyte. Now, these are the gametocytes. Yes, you heard it right, gamete, which are in, yes, actually, Plasmodium throughout its infectious or throughout its infectious or pathogenic form is haploid. Yes. So now, for these gametocytes to produce gamete, they need an optimum temperature. But we know that the person with malaria don't have optimum temperature. The merozoites which are going asexual division would definitely need to the increase in the temperature. So this macro and micro gametocyte won't survive here. They need to choose another host. And which host they would? Yes, you're right. It's the female Anopheles mosquito. But why only female Anopheles mosquito? Why not another pathogens? Yes, because this micro and macro gametocyte won't be able to survive in another pet host, since they would be destroyed. So now they are transformed from the warm blooded to the cold blooded. So these micro and macrogametocyte migrate to the superficial blood vessel. Yes, because the vector could only pierce its proboscis to the superficial level only. So they will migrate to the superficial level. I'm making a superficial artery, and here is a proboscis, and they are sucked by the female Anopheles. Yes, and now the micro and macro gametocyte reach the gut of the female Anopheles, gut or the intestine you can say, where they now divide. So this is the macro, this is the micro. Macro remains as such and produces gametes. What do you think? What way they would be producing the gametes? It would be mitosis only, since they are end condition. End condition is there in micro and macro gametocytes. So, and this micro gametocyte would go through exflagellation to produce flagella shaped gametes. Now there will fusion in the gut only to result in zygote, and this zygote will again form a movable life form stage, which is known as, this will be something movable. They will be having flagella, ookinete, and these move to the lymphatic or the another drainage system through which they can reach the salivary glands of the female Anopheles, and they form cysts, and now they are on an oocyst. This oocyst migrate to the salivary gland of female Anopheles, and there they divide like this, a lotus shaped formation, and then there is multiple fission to produce, these are the trophozoites. So this is the case. And trophozoite N, since there is poration. And now this trophozoite with the saliva again continues the same process when an infected female Anopheles bites a healthy person. So yes, this was the life cycle I have completed. Hope you liked the video. Thank you.